easy go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be ranking the game passes inside of Pembroke Pines from worst to best in that order. And before I do that, guys, 800 merch available for 1 week only. I think there's like 4 days left, 3 days left to get the merch. So get it now or you won't have it. But if you can't, then it's fine. There's more limited merch that'll come out a long time from now. But yeah. I'm gonna stop blabbing on and let's get into this Game Pass ranking here. By the way, the Pembroke is a little broken, as you can see. This is my Koenigsegg. 4 wheels, 2 chairs, and a license plate. Gotta love it. But let's get into the worst car in the first Game Pass inside of Pembroke Pines. Now that Game Pass would be the bus's Game Pass. Now, so little people have this Game Pass. And I feel as if nobody actually wants to use this Game Pass except for trolling people. I thought it was going to be a cool Game Pass when I bought it, but I'm just kind of just buses here. Nothing really cool about it. There's no cool cars in here. It's just really disappointing. But let's move on to the second worst Game Pass in the game. That would be the normal Game Pass. Actually, no, it'd be the emergency Game Pass. So the first worst Game Pass inside of Pembroke Pines would probably be the bus. Next, moving on to the emergency Game Pass. I'm only saying the emergency Game Pass because when you want to use these cars to actually role play something out, 90% of the time you're always gonna have to end up chasing somebody. And when you do say there's 911 active, people are just gonna make calls left, right, center. There's no calls here. You go there, there's no calls there, and it just really isn't fun to be driving around a cop car since everybody decides to ram speed by you and just not generally like you when you're in the emergency Game Pass cars. But that's just really it for the emergency Game Pass. It really just isn't fun when you're driving these cars around. But moving on to the third worst, or however you want to label it. How many passes are there? There's like 9 passes. So bus 3. So it's like the sixth pass. I'm not even gonna do the math. But moving on to the next worst pass in the game, it would be the normal Game Pass. So the normal Game Pass, I understand some of you are like, why the normal Game Pass? Well, it's because it has all like basic cars that can't go over like 150. You know, most of the cars don't have really good turning. But overall, I only rated this car pass this low is because these other Game Passes that I haven't talked about are just a lot better car-wise. They have a lot of cars and stuff that just have better cars than the other Game Passes. But there's nothing too much wrong about this car pass, alright? But moving on to the next worst car pass in the game, or moving on to the middle of the worst to best review, it would be the Jdm Car Pass. Not hating on the Jdm Car Pass fans here, but I'm just saying it just has so little cars and it has so much potential that there's just not much in here to have fun with. So I understand there's a Skyline, there's the Supra, right? Those are the 2 main cars that have driven up this pack. Those are the only 2. I've hardly ever seen a Civic, an Evo. I've seen some of the 2020 Supras, but I haven't seen any of these. See, nobody really drives around this pass, is why I rated it as such. But moving on to the next pass here, the next worst pass would probably be, not the next worst pass, I'm going to say like, what, how many passes are there left? 1, 2, 3. So this is like the 4th pass, so we're moving on. So the 4th place here would be the luxury Game Pass. Now, the luxury Game Pass is full of great cars and stuff, but they're so overpriced. There's so many cars in here that should be much lower prices for what they are, but they're so expensive, and some of them don't drive very well. And I've hardly seen anybody driving these around either because it's such priced cars. I mean, there are some really nice ones. There are really cool cars, but they're just really expensive, and the normal person won't drive this pass around a lot since they will typically need to buy a lot of money to actually be able to get, you know, some of these cars in the pass. Moving on to the next worst pass inside of the game. Not that, and this is like the fourth. Yeah, so the luxury was the fifth. This one would be the fourth. So the premium is the next pass on the list, which is fourth, which is on the good scale. So I'm rating this car pass fourth because it just doesn't compare to the next three passes. It just has those. It has really good cars in them. It's just these cars are just, you know, not. What am I gonna say here? These cars are just not as good as the other cars and the other passes. So, really, I'm only rating this car pass low, because the other passes are kind of better than this pass. But, I mean, they do have their own quirks, features, and stuff. It's a really good pass. I recommend you get this pass if you want all these really good cars and stuff. But, I'm just rating it fourth because the other passes, I feel, have more potential and a lot better. But let's move on here to the third best pass in the game, which is the Electric Game Pass. Now, I know you may be wondering, half of these cars aren't even driven. But I'm saying it's really good because of the Model Y, the Model S, the Model X, and the Model 3. Because all of these cars here are super good at acceleration, turning. These cars are just overall really good. So that's why I'm rating it third out of the pass. It's not because they're like really popular model cars in this pass. I'm rating it because they drive really well and they're pretty good on the road. But next we'll move on to the second best pass in the game, which is between the Sports and the Supercar Pass. And I'm actually going to pick the Supercar Pass for the second best pass in the game. Don't get mad at me in the comments. I'm rating it second best pass because it's really expensive for some of these cars. And I feel like the sports cars is generally better. But these cars are really expensive. See, you got 1 million, you got a $350,000 car, you got a $3 million Agera here, you got 200,000, 200,000. Typically, you need to drive a lot to get these cars, and some of these cars disappoint. We're talking to you, the 488 in Portofino. You guys need to step up your game. But other than that, it's just, you know, expensive cars. But these cars are super duper good. I highly recommend you get this pass if you have enough money to get these cars in the game. Moving on to the best pass inside of Pembroke Pines would be the Sports Game Pass, only because it's cheap. It has really good cars, and they all sound, drive, and feel nice. Like, I'm surprised. I drive a lot of these cars, and I always think of them really well. So, that's it for today's video, guys. The number one best car pass inside of Pembroke will be the Sports Game Pass. Now, I know you may be hating me in the comments below. That's just my take on this pass. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below what cars are next. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.